Hello, it appears I'm live again. Sorry about that. But why isn't it coming up in my feed here? Oh, there it goes. Okay, I am back. I apologize. I think I had two people watching, one of which was Christine. Hopefully she will come back. And let's hope everything goes. I don't know what happened. Everything just froze. I had to restart my computer and my phone. Okay, so let me switch cameras down to my desktop and we'll just get going here. Okay, solo layout. Here we go. All right, so we're back. Okay, so I was talking about this beautiful florals in bloom. I kind of don't really want to repeat myself again because that's boring for you guys. But the Florals in Bloom is a gorgeous suite. It is in our annual catalog. So if you happen to have a catalog, you can have a little look in there. And I was just kind of showing you the stamp sets. And then there's a set of dies that goes with each. So you can build beautiful flowers. You can either stamp them or you can build them up. And then there's two really interesting dies with two different words, lovely and bloom. And this is actually what they look like when you put them together. So there's a solid die that you can put a color in the background. I happen to have this on black. And then you can put another die on top of that to create the scripty part. And then you glue them together. So they're really, really kind of cool. And you can, do all kinds of different colors. So that's how those dies work. You've got two dies for the bloom and two dies for the word lovely. That's how those work. And then you've got some other dies to do lots of different flowers. So look at these dies here. You've got lots of flowers. And then they're kind of builder dies. So for example, you die cut this one and it includes some embossing in here. And then you can add this element on top to give it a 3D look. So those are lots of fun. Now, I will admit I have not yet played with this set. I think I might have made one card, although I'm not sure. I don't think I did. So we're going to play with it tonight. Lots of beautiful images here. This is a flower that we're going to be stamping tonight. And we're going to be creating a background on the card. Yes, I am back now. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. I see me on Facebook. I'm live. So we're going to stamp a background with this stamp here as well. And there are dies in here that cut out the paper as well, which is always a lot of fun. It just kind of saves you from doing, extra work. Well, it's extra work to die cut the paper, that's for sure. So this is the card we're going to make tonight, this one down here. Okay, so we're going to stamp this background on here. I just want to show you quickly the papers. They're absolutely stunning. So 2 sheets of each as always, 12 by 12. And you'll have to just look at your dies and figure out which dies cut out which flowers. But you've got these 2 beautiful sheets, and then you've got this background here. So this is what this little stamp is. So you can create your own backgrounds, using different colors. So when I looked at this card originally to case it, I thought this might be one of the papers. This is Summer Splash, the color. So we're going to use a Summer Splash card base here. Then I thought there might be a Summer Splash piece of paper, but there isn't. This is Secret Sea. Okay, and then look at how gorgeous the colors are together. They're just stunning. And then you've got this fun background here. And then you've got this one is absolutely gorgeous. And then you've got this funky background here. Then these are gorgeous. I love those colors together. What I love about Designer Series paper, and I've mentioned this before too, is that you get to learn about, different color, what colors go with what colors. So if you see your paper like this, you can mark down what these colors are and then use them together on other projects. And then you've got this is Strawberry Slush. And then this one, now just out of curiosity, I'll bet you No, see, this is a solid die, and there's no outline die here, so you can't cut this one out. I thought you could, but you can't. Now, maybe the leaf. Is there an outline leaf? No, there's no outline leaf either. Okay, maybe there's not much to cut out from the paper. I'm not sure. I love this striping here, and this is another in color cloud cover. It's a beautiful color. And then look at this. Oh my gosh, they just explode on the page. This is gorgeous too. Now, sadly, tonight we're not using any of these papers, but I just had to show them to you if you haven't seen them yet. They are absolutely gorgeous. So those are your papers, and there's quite a few colors in here. Bubble Bath, Cloud Cover, Darling Duckling, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, Secret Sea, Shy Shamrock, Strawberry Slush, Summer Splash, and Timid Tiger. Yeah, lots of colors in there. So pretty. All right, so let's set that aside because we're not using any of those papers. Okay, here's my card base. Okay, now I'm going to grab a scrap of paper. Because I want to create my background. And all right, so we're going to do Secret Sea. Now, I'm not sure if it's Secret Sea or if it's Cloud Cover. This isn't a very dark color. I think I'm going to go with Secret Sea. Or maybe it's Summer Splash. Maybe it's the same color as the cardstock. I don't know. It's hard to tell in the photo. But maybe we'll go with the same color. We'll do tone on tone. Okay, now the striping, it's not really striping, but this is going to go sideways. So I'm just going to... This will take me a bit of time. I think I want to go this way, up and down. Be easier for me to keep it straight. So I'm just going to stamp. And you're just creating a background. And I'm going to try and avoid any spacing. So I might just overlap the color a little bit. So we're just going to do this. I'm not going to be too particular. I love any stamp that has a bit of a background on it because it's great for filling in white space when you're doing your projects, or it just adds a little extra something something on your creations. Now, I could take more time doing this, but I really don't think it's necessary. Just get your ink on your paper, and you might be surprised at the results when you're not overly picky, which is sometimes really hard for me. I'm a bit of a persnickety stamper. But in this case, I'm just going to lay this down edge to edge. Okay, now I'm going to rotate this and go in from the other side. There you go. And I've created this kind of interesting background on the card. Yeah, I think that was a good choice, tone on tone. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing we're using on here are these beautiful, huge die. This is a huge die package. It's called the Party Banners Dies. And I love the shape of these. We've had banner dies in the past, but these are really, I love these because they're kind of scooped on the bottom. Now, I have to try and decide which size is going to work on here. And I think I picked the right one. Okay, so I am going to cut this out of another piece of the same color, which is Summer Splash. I love this color. Love it. Oh, yeah, that piece will work. So let's die cut this out. And another option is you could die cut this and then you could run it through an embossing folder and give it some texture. That might be interesting. There's always a way to what we call, no, I can't remember what we call it. I want to say dress it up, but that's not the expression. Maybe I'll think of it. Christine, you know what the expression is. Stampin' Up uses it all the time. Not dress it up, but oh my gosh, it's totally escaped me. All right, so we've got this on here. Now, let's do the greeting. So the greeting is done in, this is Timid Tiger. It's another one of our in colors. It's just this beautiful orange color. So these are all my, oh, there's a perfect piece. These are all my little scraps. Now, I don't like stamping with white on white because I don't get enough of a contrast. So let me grab my silicone mat here. You want to be able to see the outline of your paper. Okay, and then this is my greeting. And I'm going to try and stamp it straight. There we go. And then this is just a straight cut. So I'm just going to pull in my little mini guillotine and cut that. Okay, and we're going to put a little piece of ribbon. Now this ribbon is just gorgeous. The Timid Tiger is really pretty. But we're going to take a strip of the ribbon and we're going to have it come out each end. Let me grab my ribbon scissors. So we're going to lop that off on an angle. And then we're going to lop this off at an angle. And then I'm going to bring in my tear and tape. I find tear and tape is the best adhesive to use for ribbons. Okay, and I'm going to put it right along this edge here at the bottom of the greeting. Okay, now I like to really rub my tape to make sure that it sticks. And then I'm going to pull that off. And then let's lay my ribbon out. And I just want a little bit showing underneath. Little piece of ribbon underneath your sentiments. Really, I think I'm going to cut that off a little bit shorter. There we go. Okay. And I think we'll be popping this up on some dimensionals. So let me grab those. We'll do 3 of these. Okay, so there's our greeting, and that's ready to go. Okay, now before the video started, I decided, good job I did too because of the problems I had, but I decided to die cut this bloom. So see, this is the bigger die for the thicker, the shadow. I call it the shadow. Well, it's not really a shadow the way it's works, but you know what I mean. It's the background. Let's say it's the background to the greeting. Okay, I'm going to pull this off. Just be gentle whenever you're pulling your die out of your, look how pretty that is. Okay, and now I'm going to use my, okay, what happened to my little Tombow glue thing? I'm going to pull out my other glue. This art glitter glue, I think, works really, really well because it's got the finest tip that never seems to clog. You do have to keep a pin in it, though, but it never clogs. And I'm just going to add, so you want to add your glue to the skinny die cut. So this glue is great because it just puts a little dot. I've tried to get the smallest dot on my Tombow, and it's really difficult. So this, to me, has been a better option. Okay, I want some tweezers. I like to use tweezers. And I'm going to lift this up. Now, don't try and glue the whole thing at once. I usually start at the beginning, and I get that positioned on here first. Now, I got to have a better, I need a white background here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, that's going to go on like that. Yeah, so just go slowly and do it till you get to the end. I do have a little bit of glue that came out, but that's okay. That'll dry. Okay. So this bee could have come down a little bit lower, I think. So just take your time when you're doing that. Okay, so we've got that ready. Now we're going to do our flowers. So I've got, this is the greenery, and I'm going to do the greenery not really in green. We're going to be doing it in Secret Sky. Now this is 2 parts. You're stamping two parts to the flower, the stems and then the blooms. So let's bring in some white, basic white cardstock. And let's do, you have to experiment when you're new to stamps like this. You have to experiment. Is it better to do the stems first and then do the blossoms? And the blossoms are being done in, I'm going to say they're being done in peach. I brought in peach pie. So peach pie is an in color that came out last year. So there's 5 colors from last year, and then there's 5 colors for this year. I mean, each run for two years. So look at the peach pie with the timid tiger. They're just absolutely gorgeous together. So let's stamp our flowers. Now, there's stems in between the flowers, so I might have to do this a couple of times just so I know what I'm doing. So there is, there's some flowers that want to go in between the flowers. Just bear with me a sec. So if I go to the top and try and get all those stems in place, the bottom ones don't look like they're in place. Maybe I have to twist it a bit. Yeah, like I said, you have to sort of experiment. Let's try that. Not bad. Not bad, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do the flowers this time. Okay. And now I want a bit of shading on here. So before I stamp the leaves or the stems and the leaves, I'm going to grab my Timid Tiger blends, the dark blend. Let's close up this ink pad first. And I'm going to add a bit of shading, just a little bit of shading on the bottom of the flowers, just to give them a little bit of dimension here. Now let's hope I can stamp the stems really well now that I've done this shading on here. Okay, let's try the stems again. So it's tricky because I'm trying to get okay, I'm going for it. Oh my goodness gracious, Erica. See, these worked really well, these little stems here, but this one's off a little bit, but this is good, and these are good. Okay, that worked better. I would do the flowers first and then the stems. That's my experience. So you might have to stamp it a few times just to get used to that. Okay, so now you love the background I stamped. Oh, good. Yeah, it's kind of funky, isn't it? Okay, now there's a die. Maybe it's this die here. There's a die in here, I think, which will do that whole flower. Let's hope I'm not wrong. Looks like it. Yep, look at that. Oh my gosh, it looks like I need 2 of these. So we'll have to do it again. Okay, let's cut this one out and just see how it looks. And then we're going to have to do stamping again. So we're going to do the flowers first and then the stems. See how that works out. All right. First pass. Look at that. So you see the shading? Doesn't the shading make a difference? I think it does. That's very pretty. Okay, now I've got room on here to do another one. Okay, so let's do the flowers first. So I need the peach pie. Peach pie for the flowers. Okay. And I'm going to grab my marker. Yeah, I want the dark one, the darker marker. And we're just going to add a little bit of, as your ink dries, your ink pads, they're a water-based ink pad. As they dry, they do lighten up a little bit. So adding this little bit of dimension on the bottom will help liven them up. Okay, now let's put the peach pie away. And we'll pull out this secret C. And we will try and get this stamped really well. I just realized my camera's not center stage. Let's center stage that. There we go. Okay, so let's do the leaves now. So I'm looking at the bottom two flowers, and I think you do have to twist it a bit to the left. Oh no. Didn't work out quite as well as I wanted, and I got a little smudge there. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's just try one more time. Maybe I'll get the stems on and then I'll do the extra coloring. Otherwise, it's a bit of a waste, isn't it? Okay, let's try that again. We've had stamps like this before, and I remember them being a little challenging. Because when you look through the acrylic block as well, it's almost like they're magnified. You see, those three at the top line up beautifully, but the one on the side does not. Don't know why. Okay, I'm going for it. Oh, look at that. That's like, I think that's like perfect. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so let's add a little bit of this darkening here. Just always keep in mind, stamping is not a perfect art, okay? It's just not. It's a handmade card, and it's not meant to be perfect. If you want it to be perfect, then you need to go and buy a Hallmark card or a Carlton card. But if you love handmade, you have to accept the flaws. It's like when you buy linen clothing, they always say, and leather goods too, they've always said, you know, the dyeing gives it a bit of discoloration, which is totally natural. And in linen, you know, some threads are darker, or the dyeing process changes the hues throughout the fabric, and it's natural. Okay, let's cut this out, and then we can start assembling our card. All right. Oh, there's something else in here too. There's a floret, there's a leaf stem in here that's done in this beautiful cloud cover. So I think I need another, maybe I can get away with it right here. Right here. I got to find the stamp. What stamp is that? Must be this stamp. This stamp looks really tiny. Oh, but these are only at 85%. That's why. Yes, it is a little bit bigger. It looks a lot bigger on the card. There it is. That's really a sweet little stem. So let me grab. I'm going to just clean this block and remove this stamp. So I can use this block here. Okay, now there must be a die to match. Oh, there it is. So pretty well the dies, stamps and dies are from the one stamp bundle. Okay. So when you're looking at a suite, if it's a double suite, you don't have to buy both sets of stamps and dies. Okay, we want 2 of these. You know, this reminds me of this color, and the leaf almost reminds me of, there's a plant called, I think it's called lamb's ear. And it's this beautiful bluey green color. Okay, there's only 1 die. Yes, 1 die. I have to cut this out twice. Yeah, it's just a beautiful green color. It's used, I don't know if it's the same plant, but there's another plant too that's used as a basket filler when you're doing your plants in the summer. And it's also kind of like that color. It's this pale bluey green color. It's just gorgeous. And the woolly lamb's ear plant is really soft to the touch. I think I used to use it in my garden. Okay, so here we have 1. And let's just die cut the second one. And then we'll be ready to put our card together. Okay. That's pretty well a good, well-used piece of cardstock. Okay. All right. Let me just throw my dies over there in one corner and take these pieces off here. And there's our greeting. All right. Get rid of that. All right, so here's our card base. Oh, let me just close. There's another die here. Let me just close my ink pad. All right. So this is a landscape card. So you could change the orientation if you like. And I was saying you could emboss this piece if you like. So I'm just going to glue this on. So let me grab my glue gunner. See, look at these beautiful curved edges. They're really cool. So I'm going to put that on there like that. Then we're going to put one of these here like this. I'm just going to glue this flat. I can just put a bit of tape on there. Oh my gosh, there's 3 of those leaves. I missed the 3rd one. There's 3 of them. I should have known better. I'm just sticking that on there, and this is slanted a little bit. Like that. Okay, now this one I am going to add. I love adding dimensionals to the tops of my flowers. You've seen me do that a lot. It just lifts their happy little faces to the sun. So I'm just going to put one there. Okay, and then this is going to come down like this and be covered by the, let's just put a little bit of tape in here. So this is going to come like this. Okay, and then I've got this one little guy. Let's just put some glue on here. So I think I need to stamp one more of these just to fill in this little space here. So let's get another piece of cardstock here. Stamp that like that. And then here's the die over here in this corner. This little die, when you're putting clusters of flowers together and you want to kind of fill in spaces, this little tiny leaf will work really well for that. Okay, let's just die cut this out. I should have looked at my project a little closer to see how many pieces we needed. There we go. Okay, so let's do one more. Whoa, that's a lot of glue. Hang on. That's too much glue. Let's just stick it. I want to be able to stick it underneath here. Here we go. Okay. All right, next thing is our greeting. Just want to stick this pin in my glue. And we've got, now we're going to, I think I'll put the bloom on first. And then we're going to put the greeting underneath it. Okay. Now, I guess you could put this on dimensionals, but you'd have to start, yeah, you don't have a dimensional to fit on here. You could start, you know, cutting the little ones down, but I'm just going to glue it flat. I just think it's going to be easier to just glue it flat. Okay. All right, now we're putting this right here. Oh man, it's coming together. It's looking really good, I think. I just want to cover up that little gap in there. There's a gap right there between these two little leaves. I'll just put that on there like that. And then let's take off our adhesive backings. Hey, Carol joined us. Dusty Miller, thank you, Carol. I can always rely on you for my flower knowledge, or your flower knowledge. Dusty Miller, yes. That is the basket filler, right? The Dusty Miller. Okay, we're just going to line this up right underneath the word. It's a little bit crooked, so I'm going to do it crooked. I like things that are crooked anyway. It's my excuse for making mistakes. Look at that. There's our card. Oh, I love it. Yep. I put the bloom on a little bit crooked. I find when I'm working on on the flat, everything's flat, I get things crooked. It's too bad I should have an easel maybe and work that way, and then I wouldn't get things crooked, but I'm okay with crooked. Look at that. That's so pretty. Anyway, there you go, ladies. Let me put my pin back in my... So another gorgeous set to play with. And look at these embellishments. There's no embellishments on this card. I can always add them. I might add some. What the heck? I love embellishments. Look at these. These are all the new in colors. They're just stunning. So let me grab... Here's my little pokey tool. Let's use this beautiful Timid Tiger. Let's just do a few on here. There's a small, a mini, a medium, and a large. There we go. See? It already looks better. Look at that. Oh, I just love these colors together. They're so pretty. So, so pretty. All right, here I'm back. What do you think? I think it is really, really pretty. It's the way Stampin' Up! Puts their colors together. I'm always in awe. Never get tired of it. Look how pretty that is. Okay, thank you so much for joining, Christine, and thank you for your patience at the beginning. Yeah, I started the video and I went through all of the products and then I froze, or the video and StreamYard completely froze. So I had to start over. And I deleted that off my Facebook page so it, it doesn't confuse people. 1 minute I'm there and the next minute I'm gone. So thanks so much for watching. I have a fun fold for tomorrow morning. It's Friday. And I just hope it started raining tonight, and I'm hoping it just absolutely pours tomorrow. We desperately need the water. We are suffering with a huge, huge wildfire on Vancouver Island. Luckily, the smoke hasn't come down to Victoria at all, so we're lucky that way, but I feel so badly for all of the beautiful forest that's burning on our beautiful island. So let's hope it really, really, really rains hard. So thanks again. And if you're around for tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'll be doing a fun fold tomorrow. And if not, you can always watch the replay. And don't forget, all my videos are on YouTube as well, because Facebook is not keeping videos around. I think after 3 months, they start to delete them. So that's why I'm always streaming to YouTube as well, so that they're there. They're being preserved over there. So thanks once again, and we will see you again soon. If not, have a great, great weekend. Bye for now.